during my time with dialysis, I started seeing people that came in vibrant and left out sick or weak, came in one way and left another way, or never came back, or passed away, or looked like they had no family or no hope. So I said, well, what can you do, Lisa? Well, I was a social worker with Catholic Charities for 25 years. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make some resources up for people that's having a hard time. Maybe they have an immigration issue. Maybe they need to go back to school or need a grant for school, because they give a lot of grants for people with disabilities and for other things. So I said, well, maybe they need some kind of hope in their life.
Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Y'all already know what time it is. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Whenever you are listening to this episode, I just want to come by and say hello and welcome to Stories of Hope podcast. Now, I know I said it, happy Tuesday, and for a lot of y'all, it's Taco Tuesday. Ooh, ooh. That's my favorite part, by the way. But here at Miss South Transplant Foundation, we call it Tell Your Story Tuesdays, okay? Now, before we get started, I would like to introduce myself. So if this is your first time tuning in, welcome, welcome. I'm happy to have you with us today. And hello, my name is ARTavius VZ, and I am your host and the Digital Communications Coordinator here at Miss South Transplant Foundation. Now, there's a couple fun facts about me. I am a 16-year post-kidney transplant recipient, and I am the author of Becoming a Living Testimony, my journey through kidney disease and how it blessed my life, okay? So here at Stories of Hope podcast, I interview and share personal stories of patients, recipients, and donor families with the goal of giving hope, spreading awareness, and encouraging others to becoming a registered organ and tissue donor. All right. So are y'all ready for today's episode? Because I know I'm always excited, okay? Especially for our special guest today, a good friend of mine. She is a kidney transplant recipient. May you guys help me welcome Miss Lisa Baxter. Hello, Lisa. How you
What's up,
doing?
man? How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm alive and kicking, baby. I'm alive and kicking and
That's
excited
right.
about you interviewing me. I'm so proud of you, man.
Thank you. Thank
Do
you. Thank
your
you.
thing.
So for those who may not know you, do me a favor and introduce yourself to the people, please.
My name is Lisa Baxter. Okay, that is my name. Yes, it is.
All right. So as I tell all my guests, you have the floor. So tell us your story.
I don't exactly know where to start, but I will start with having a kidney disease called polycystic kidney disease.
Okay.
And I got polycystic kidney disease from my father. Unfortunately, 6 of my siblings were on dialysis besides myself, along with my 2 aunts, my uncle, and my mother-in-law, and my great aunt.
Wow.
And so, knowing that this thing ran in the family and what have you, it made me want to become an advocate for people dealing with dialysis at the time, because I did 12 years of dialysis,
Mm.
and I've been transplanted only for 5 years. So during my time with dialysis, I started seeing people that came in vibrant and left out sick or weak, came in one way and left another way, or never came back, or passed away, or looked like they had no family or no hope. So I said, well, what can you do, Lisa? Well, I was a social worker with Catholic Charities for 25 years. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make some resources up for people that's having a hard time. Maybe they have an immigration issue. Maybe they need to go back to school or need a grant for school, because they give a lot of grants for people with disabilities and for other things. So I said, well, maybe they need some kind of hope in their life or something else to do. So I said, well, maybe they want to volunteer or whatever they might want to do. So I was an advocate at my center anyway. So I would type things up, different types of resources up there to get money, to buy groceries, if you needed a home attendant or something like that, or whatever it is you want to do, maybe open your own business, or get training for work.
Mm-hmm.
So I would hang those things up, and I would also talk to the staff and them about it. So if they knew somebody with it, that somebody that might have been private or quiet, so I would have it up there already with the phone number or the information that they can have or get when they went to get their weight. But I did that because I wanted somebody to have some sort of hope or something to do, or just give them something and let them know there's more people out there. I know we in here all together, but there
Right.
are other people that's living in silence or living in fear or already gave up because they act like this thing was a death sentence. So I said,
Right.
we couldn't have that. You know what I mean? So what I did is I even started writing books. I started writing books. I started going out doing speaking engagements. I started joining the Polycystic Kidney Foundation, the Renal Network, the ESRD Network, AAKP. I don't know what
Mhm.
I didn't sit on or go on or volunteer as, or I even tried to help raise money for some of them. I went on the kidney walk, the cancer walk, get your rear in gear.
Mhm.
My husband had, I was married for 23 years,
Okay.
and my husband had passed away of colon cancer, and I still miss him to the day. I was crying earlier about that because of the holidays going by, and his birthday was this month. And he was the first person that ever wanted to give me a kidney, and he got tested and was a perfect match. And they kept saying, "You sure y'all not related?" I said, "No, we only related by marriage." So oh, my brother,
Right.
that's my baby. They ain't come on here. You know what I'm trying to think. So I mean, he was a perfect match, but it turned out that he had a valve in his heart that wouldn't attach and he couldn't go under to give me the kidney. But I kept saying, baby,
Mm.
somebody gotta stay healthy in this family. You
Right.
the healthy one seemed like, because I got sick first. So, so he had he couldn't do it. So I went back, I got on the list because he had secretly did that behind my back. Him
Mm.
and the Archbishop Rockford had talked me into even getting on the list because I figured my kidneys will work sooner or later because that's what a doctor told me. And they didn't, you know what I mean? But thank God I was number 4 on the list for being on dialysis for so long.
Okay.
And well, I also got 4 calls, you know what I'm saying? 4 calls. And the fourth call was the real call that really got me there, you know what
All
I'm
right. All right.
but it was a deep journey, but
Mhm.
and it's a tough journey, but it's a doable journey. So that's what
Right.
made me become an advocate. That's what made me do the Lisa Baxter show for 12 years. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes.
I had to do something because I couldn't
Mhm.
travel everywhere anymore. I was traveling all over the world,
Mhm.
sponsoring and speaking at colleges and schools and senior centers and dialysis centers and treatment places and you name it. I went there to speak or talk or teach because some people don't even know anything about transplant or dialysis. So it's like it's under a rock. So I want
Exactly.
awareness to come, make it come alive, make it pop,
Exactly.
make it
Right.
sense, make it something. You know
Right.
what I
And
mean?
that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast
Mhm.
is to humanize, organ and tissue donation, because we always hear the medical side of it and what caused it and all the symptoms and all of that. But from my perspective, I did never see a face to it. Like, to
Mhm.
humanize it, I think is very important. And I'm gonna segue into the next question I have, with why it's so important for us
Mhm.
as recipients to share our stories. Because, like I said, for me, growing up on dialysis at 13, I didn't see
Mhm.
nobody that looked like me. And I didn't see nobody really talking about, their journey through dialysis or their journey through kidney disease. I always saw our people, us Black people, in the clinics, but I never saw nobody in those boardrooms or on TV sharing their stories or sharing their personal journeys with the public. So I was like, this is needed, this is important, and I'm super excited to have you here. So, what advice would you give to that recipient on why is it important to share their personal journey with kidney disease?
Well, I figure the more stories out there, the better.
Yeah.
There's not enough stories. There's not enough books. There's not even enough movies. And I'm still trying to do some movies and stuff like that.
Right.
And
So am I.
commercials. You know, yeah, I've done some public service announcements and what have you. But I would say that put your story out there. Somebody, you don't know what you say that might just make that person either get on the list or stay on the list or continue to be on the list or even take that chance. They don't know all that you've been through. You know, they might have been through the same thing, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
know that unless you tell your story, unless you
Exactly.
share it, unless you put it out there. You know what I mean? Somebody out might say, "Oh, I have polycystic kidney disease. I have bone joint disease. I have gum disease. I have
Mm-hmm.
this and that," because you do develop some of these things with the transplant and with being on dialysis for a long time. It mess with bones. It mess with calcium and stuff
Right.
like that. You end up with arthritis and stuff. I'm not happy with a cane or a walker, but
Right.
let
Right.
nothing stop my life, and none of my siblings did either. We
Yeah.
traveled, we did everything like normal people. You would never know we were sick unless you've seen the fistula or our arm or the catheter hanging around or poking out or something. Other than
Yeah.
that, you would never know it. But I would say, please put your story out there.
Yeah.
You know, you're not only saving your life because it gives beauty to your life, but
Mm-hmm.
it'll save somebody's life out there, and
Yeah.
that's priceless.
Yeah.
It's just priceless, and it gives so much hope and so much encouragement, and be such a $1 billion blessing. It's not
Yeah.
even any money that can cover such a gift that you're saying and giving, and
Yeah.
all you got to do is tell it.
Yeah.
So
And I say to you, spot on, spot on. And what I always say is, even though, like in the case of me and you, we both went through dialysis, but for me, my story ain't your story. So like you have a different type of kidney disease than I have. So it's like the more variety of stories we have, a bigger chance that somebody will be able to relate. And
yes,
that's my whole goal is to share as many type of stories and personal journeys, whether you're a patient, whether you're still a dialysis patient, whether you're a recipient, no matter what type of transplant you
mhm,
had, whether it's organ or tissue or a donor family. Everyone have their own specific journey, and I think there's power in every one of our journeys individually, because us all together makes up the great community of organ and tissue transplantation. So I'm super, super happy about that.
it
But
really does. I couldn't
right.
have gotten through it without God, without prayer, without prayers from the saints and people that know you and love you, co-workers,
Hmm.
everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, because it's sometimes you want to just pack and leave, or just
Yeah,
forget
it's
about
rough.
it, or don't care, what nobody else say. You sometimes you can't take another story or another push. But sometimes that one story, that one push, or that one example is the thing that lights your fire and
Yep.
gets you a blazing and a going. So
Yep.
we need that. And
Yeah.
we need you.
Yeah. And it's amazing. And for me, I didn't know all of your most or all of your siblings were on dialysis. I didn't know that. Or
Yes, six of them.
all your siblings went through that. So like you said, it runs in a family. Did you know like how, or was it hereditary or something?
Well, yeah, one of my brothers got on because of diabetes. And I
Okay.
kept
And
telling them,
that
you're not
runs in
like
the
the
black
rest of us.
culture.
I kept telling them, run. You're not like the rest of us. You got a chance.
Yeah.
Fly. Get out of here. And he wants to continue to live big. He was into construction, Shelton Cross, like my brother. And he died on the machine. He
Okay.
actually bled to death on a dialysis machine. But that's how he got on. But polycystic kidney disease is when you have cysts all over the kidneys, multiple cysts. And after a certain amount of time, the kidneys just slow down, and just stop working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I
Mm.
mean, I had been hit in the stomach where it'll cause you to pee blood, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll feel a little discomfort or a little pain, but mostly, and it can get really huge and really big, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And make hardly any room. But I remember when they were gonna operate on me, they said, we're gonna put it right here. And I said, you gonna put Hannah? I call my kidney Hannah. I said, you gonna put Hannah over here? I said, okay, because the surgeon comes to talk to you. Everybody talks to
Right.
you. You feel comfortable and stuff like that. And I had to do a couple of shandos, before the younger.
Right. So before we go on any farther, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we will be right back. So you guys stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
I give hope, I give life, I give me. Join us and give life.
4 years ago, someone gave me hope and gave me life by giving me a heart.
25 years ago, someone gave me hope and gave me life. I received a liver that saved my life.
I support organ and tissue donation because 4,000 people in the Mid-South need a life-saving organ.
I can give them hope. I can give them life. I can give me.
You can give life too.
Currently, 4,000 Mid-Southerners are in need of a life-saving transplant. Join Mid-South Transplant Foundation and give hope, give life.
Register to become an organ and tissue donor at midsouth.transplant.org.
All
Wow.
right. All right. We're back.
I love that. Oh, man, I love the commercial thing. That's what's up.
Thank you.
Fantabulous.
Thank you.
Fantabulous. That made me want to be a donor, and I'm already a donor.
Right.
You know?
So I want to jump back into it. You mentioned as you were telling your story that you were an author as well. So tell us about that.
Oh, okay. Why not? I've written 7 books, but I only published 2.
Okay.
And my first book was called Through the Eyes of a Dialysis Patient. Okay. I wanted them to see what I go through my eyes and some of the other people as well that I talked to that dealt with this too. So I not only told within my own feelings and story, I gave a little bit of what I learned from others as well while I was in dialysis on it step by step. You know, when I heard the news from all the way until, everything that I had to deal with or hear about. And how afraid I was to even get on the transplant list or didn't want to do it and, things like that. And you'd be surprised how you learn and you grow. But the book did well. As soon as I've written it, dialysis centers started putting it in their center and stuff like that. And it was just a beautiful thing. I couldn't believe it. Before I even had a website, it was already sold almost 1,000 copies.
Go ahead.
I was honored and I was so blessed because I didn't know how to really get it out there. And I still do things to try to get that book out there, or Melzy Takes Dialysis to Show and Tell. But with that one, it's, with books at Book Baby, and the other Melzy Takes Dialysis to Show and Tell is with Exlebius, and it's with Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. But I wanted to show them that children are also can be on dialysis, and that I also wanted to show them that they need an understanding when they have a parent that's on dialysis. Yeah. But that book only talks about a great aunt being on dialysis and the child learning about it and shared it with their school, show and tell, and show the picture. So that's
I love this. So proud of you for that, because as we said, sharing our story is very important. And for you to share different perspectives of stories is very important for like the adults and for children. Because for me, when I was on dialysis, I was 13 and I was at a children's hospital. So there were children who was younger than me at 13 on dialysis, and it was a wow for me. I would have never guessed, or if I wasn't on dialysis, I wouldn't have known that children go through this as well. And I think around that time is when I realized that children can have cancer and all of that stuff with St. Jude and all of that, because St. Jude is here in Memphis, and it was crazy. Wow. So with that being said, now that you've had your kidney transplant, what have you been able to do now that you couldn't do before?
Well, that's funny because I was very active while I was on dialysis. Nothing really slowed me down when I was on that, except if I had low blood pressure or if my pressure went low, or my calcium. So I would say that I drink more water. I was able to drink. I love water. So I was able to drink more water. Not have a problem with having some ice cream if I wanted it.
Okay.
That also melts into a fluid. So when you're on dialysis, you have to, only do 32 ounces. So if you had soup and all that, so I was able to have soup if I wanted to, how much soup I wanted to have, how much ice cream, Jello, another thing that melt, and all the water I wanted to drink. You know what I mean? So I kept forgetting I didn't have to go to the clinic. I would wake up or get together and I said, Doug, I'm not on dialysis anymore.
Right. It messed me up too, because I know when I got, because I think I was talking to one of the other episodes where we first get our transplant, we have to be at the clinic every other day for labs, and then you go from every other day to every other week, and then once a month, twice a month, or every 2 or 3 months and 6 months. And see, me now, I'm at once a year. And like you said, you be forgetting you got to go to the clinic. I know I do. They'll give me a little card and it'd be a year away. I'd have been lost the card by then. And then I'd be like, okay, let me put it in my phone so it can give me a reminder. But it'd be crazy.
It was the dialysis is what I kept remembering, thinking I had to go because I was on 12 years. And and you know what? No, to transplant people now, don't forget that. I gotta live, child. I got to get there. Can't play. No, not with that. But anyway, but it's understandable because you go through things with taking so many meds and stuff like that, and you count the time, the hours. It freaks you out in the beginning, but it'd be like a piece of cake clockwork.
Yeah, but that dialysis, I can understand that. Like when you be on it for so long, and get the transplant, you don't have to go to nowhere. Like, oh, okay, so what do I do now? It's like you have to figure out plan your life around it. And I know I definitely go into the whole thing of, I had this nurse had come up to me because I think I was speaking on the radio or something, and a nurse called in and she was like, you have to understand that everybody's not going to get a transplant. Everybody's not going to get a kidney. And at that time, I didn't know that. So I was like, okay, so I had to switch my messaging around. Okay, so even though if you're not going to get a kidney, you still could live a successful life.
Yes,
but the thing is, you go to dialysis 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, probably about 3.5 hours or 3 hours. So last time I checked, it was 7 days in a week. So what are you doing with those other 4 days? I mean, if you and as how we are, if you really want something, you're gonna go after it, right? No matter what.
I ain't mad at you, preach on.
So it's like you have to make up in your mind that you want to be somebody, that you want to do something. That's why it's important to share your story, to reach those people who may not know, or to encourage or educate your family about kidney disease if you're the only one in the family that have it. And to find your tribe, find those like-minded people who are in the same boat as you. Because what I've learned along my journey, if I find someone who's been through what I've been through and are on the other side of it, it's not as hard. Because now I have somebody who I can, connect with, who have been through it. So now they can coach me through my journey and help me, get through it, So when I was on dialysis, I had my mom, and my mom, she was like my coach. She told me about, okay, so this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna go through this, you're gonna feel this, you might feel a little nauseous. When you get off, you're gonna want to talk to nobody, you're gonna be sleepy, you're gonna be nauseous, all of that. So go take a nap, go eat. When you get up, you be ready. So it's like having that person, whether you're on dialysis or you're after you had dialysis, have that person in your corner who's been there, and it will help so much more. But on top of that, like, what advice? So we're coming to a close. So to close us out, I always like to ask for that person who has who is unsure about being a organ donor or sign up to be a registered donor. What advice would you give to them, or what would you say to them?
Wow. I would say, listen, I'm an organ donor myself because I didn't know if you had something wrong with you, you could be an organ donor. So when they told me that I could be an organ donor, I was kind of excited. Even though I'm tight with God and everything, I know some people feel because of religion, they want to go to heaven with all their organs and stuff like that. But listen, You can't take it with you. They really mean that, and that's the truth. You can't take it with you. Wouldn't it nice to be a blessing to somebody else? Wouldn't it be nice to give somebody else a better life or a better chance? And you've already used it and used it good too. How about that? You know what I mean? So I would say you get bad eyes if you take my eyes, but the rest of me is good, fine, it's great, it's a-okay. So come on, do that thing. You know what I mean? I make crazy skits and jokes and stuff like that so the person to get it. But I'm telling you the truth. You'll feel great. You'll feel good. And even the person, I had to remind my family, make sure they get them organs now. It's already, I got a card and this and that. Because sometimes the family start crying, get upset, and they do not want to honor your wishes. So you got to be careful with all of that too. But come on and do your thing. Come on and do something special. Do something beautiful, priceless, fantabulous for somebody else. Something even unselfish. If you can't do it while you're living, then when you go, leave it here. How about that? I ain't mad at you. I know you're going to do the right thing. I already know you are. I'm going to shut up. How about that?
Oh, I just love you so much. And there you have it, guys. That is our time for today. Thank you
You gotta
so,
make me cry.
so much. Lisa, you know how much I love you and how much I feel for
I love you too,
Your
Pumpkin.
story is, I just love you. But thank you again so much. I really pray that your story reaches someone and to give somebody a different perspective of what organ and tissue donation is really about. So again, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you got KK.
Now, for those of you who are watching us live on YouTube, be sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And don't forget to, leave us a little comment below and let us know what you think of this episode. If you are watching if you are listening on podcast platforms, be sure you subscribe to the channel or to the podcast so you can get that update every time we post a new episode. And leave us a rating, 5-star rating. And of course, leave us your feedback and let us know what you think. We really appreciate that. And lastly, for those and lastly, for those of you who are in the tri-state area, which is in Tennessee, Mississippi, or Arkansas, be sure you visit our website at midsouhtransplant.org to register today to become an organ and tissue donor. And if you're not in the tri-state area, be sure, if you're in the other states, be sure you visit registerme.org where you can fill out the form and put your state that you're in. All right. Don't forget to check the description below and the show notes to get all other information about the show, Miss Lisa, and everything about Mid-South Transplant Foundation. We really appreciate you guys' love and support. And to close us out, I got to tell you, no matter the opinions of others or what adversity you may face in your life, always believe in yourself because I know I believe in you. Now you go out and have a great rest of your week. And until next Tuesday, I will see y'all right back here. So you have a great and blessed week. Take care, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.